Assalamu alaikum. Now we continue with the structure of the language and we cover some marks for nouns. So the language is divided into three parts. For the grammarian, when they think about the language, the first part is فعل. This word here is for the verb. In English it's called verb, the فعل. But in Arabic this also means an act. So the word فعل is used as a verb. It means to act. So فعل something, he did something. So this is a verb. In here, this is the noun for the verb. So one kind of these three parts is called, this is what the sentence says, فعل. So this is the word for verb. And the way they define it is every word that indicate an event, something that happened, connected with time. So if it indicates time and an event, that's a verb. That's what they call فعل, a verb. And here you're given examples. This is the word for write, to write. So here it means he wrote, كتب, كتب. يكتب, that's the present tense. Notice this indicates the past. يكتب is the present. اكتب is the command form of the verb for write. So asking someone to write, telling someone to write is اكتب. So this would be in the future, after the time that you are speaking. So indicating an event with time, that's what they call verb, فعل, فعل. The second type, ونوع يقال له اسم. The second type is noun. Notice this here, I say اسم because I start with it, pronounce it separately. I say اسم. But if I read this sentence, يقال له اسم, you will hear me saying like this. So if that's the Hamza I talked about before. We're not going to cover this now, but that's just for you to understand why sometimes I will pronounce it, sometimes I will not. We'll cover this later. So اسم is the word for noun. اسم. So that's the second type. فعل, verb, اسم, noun. And here they gave three types. محمد, this is a proper noun. محمد. عصفور, this is a noun for an animal. Means a house sparrow or any small bird. In Arabic they use it for any small bird, or most of the time it indicates the house sparrow. That's how it's called, عصفور. And تفاحة, which is an apple. So you have a proper noun for a human being, an animal, and a plant or a fruit. Apple, تفاحة. The third type, ونوع يقال له حرف. The third type is letter. حرف is the word for letter. حرف. So what they call حرف here, what they mean by is a meaning letter. In another text you will see it written as a meaning letter. That's what exactly they mean, because these here, the letters and examples of letters that you will find in a sentence. But they call them letters even though you see it has two letters there. This one has two letters. This one has two letters. هل, في, and لم. The reason they call it letter, not some other noun, is because it needs to be with something else to have a meaning. It does not have a meaning on its own. A noun would have a meaning on its own. A verb would have a meaning on its own. It might not be a complete sentence, but it has a meaning of its own. These, what they call letters, they need to be with something else to have a meaning. So that's what they call meaning letters. So just be aware of that it will be called a letter, but it's not the alphabet letter. It means a letter that has some function. In here, this word hell, that's the examples they give for this letter, حرف. As I said, meaning letter. هل, this is a type of letter that you will see with nouns and you will see with verbs. So if you see a verb, you might see hell with it, or if you see a noun, you might see hell with it. And it's used in a question. In English, you say, did you eat? In Arabic, you say, هل أكلت? It does not mean did you, as in English, the past tense of do, but it's used for a question. هل هل محمد في البيت? Is Muhammad in the house? You see, you can use it with verb or a noun. So this is one example of a letter, meaning letter. في, this is the word for in. So in the house, في البيت, in the house. في. So you see that's two letters. This type of letter, there is other letters like this, and there's other letters like this. These go with nouns and verbs. This type of letter only goes with nouns. This fi here, in. So you will never see fi used with a verb like kataba here. So this is a type of letter that only goes with nouns. Lam, which is used for negation. So lam yaktub, here the present tense. This will always be with the present tense. Lam, this type of letter, it negates it. So lam yaktub, he did not write, and transfer it to the past. So if you see this lam here with the present tense, it negates it. He did not read. That's how you say he did not write. Lam yaktub. Of course, the writing in the past, if he did not do it, so that's the function of this letter. And this is a type of letter that you will only see with verbs. So we'll learn about more letters like this. Some are only attached to past tense, some only attached to present tense, and so on. So these are the types of letters. One that you will see with nouns and verbs, one you will see only with nouns, and one that you will see only with verbs. Now they continue here. لا تخرج جميع الكلمات التي تتركب من الحروف الهجائية عن 3 أنواع. So here all the words that are formed by the alphabet do not exceed these types. When you form a word in Arabic, it has to be one of those types: a noun, ism, a verb, فعل, and a letter. As I said last time, I will cover some of the marks for nouns. We learned about the diacritics. So you see here, this in here, in. This is what the grammar of Arabic is about. There is a reason why this is at the end, it's an in. It's not an un or an an. And that's what we are learning. You see the nonation here, an in, Muhammadin, عصفور, تفاحة. So the reason it's there, this nonation here, we will not discuss now, but as I said later. So this nonation, this an here, is the first mark I will cover for nouns. This mark you will only see with nouns. So if you're looking at the text now, even if you don't know the grammar or all that, look for these doubled diacritics, the 3 one. This in here, we talked about the an, and we talked about the un. So every word you see this nonation of the vowel on it at the end of it, always at the end, that's a noun. That's an indication it's a noun. It's like a in Arabic, in English. If you want to say an indefinite apple, any apple, you say an apple with a vowel here, this a in apple, you say an apple. That an indicates it's just any apple. If this did not have a vowel in the front, let's say a door, you say a door, a door. You use an with a word that begins with a vowel. So just anyone. That's the function of a and an in English. So an apple or a door. So this nonation here is used the same way with indefinite nouns. But it's also used with proper nouns. You see here Muhammadin. So some of the proper nouns, they take this because some others do not. So this nonation is your clue, one of the clues that you say, okay, this only will attach to nouns. So that's my clue. This what I'm looking at. Even if you don't know what it means, this is a noun. Here, this is the un. I talked about two examples in the diacritics. I said they're doubled. You see them doubled like this, which means un. You add that into that u, the short vowel. And sometimes you see it like this, which indicates an un. And sometimes you see that's how they used it here. فعل. Here again, ismun. Again, the reason when I read, I continue reading, I pronounce this un. If I stop, I don't pronounce it. So if I say ونوع يقال له اسم, I stop. But ونوع يقال له اسم مثل. You see, I pronounce this un here. So that's an example, another indication. The vowel that is with a nonation is a mark for a noun. And this is one of the marks. We will not go deep into that now, but this is just recognize this. This will help you when you read a text with the diacritics on it to recognize it. So here you already see, okay, I know this is a noun because of this in there, this in there, this on there. So just by looking at finding these marks, you recognize which part of these this text you are looking at is a noun, which will help you in analysis. As I said, it's unfortunate, but a lot of texts don't have these diacritics. It has to do with the printing issues. So it's easier for them to write the text without diacritics, but some will have it, like grammar books. Next time, inshallah, we'll talk about the definite article, al. See you then. Assalamu alaikum.